This is my team. This is my squad, in fact. 14.5 million left in the bank. We've put together a team, and I think we're going to keep doing this because I do enjoy putting together 11. It's a lovely format. And I've basically put together a team that leaves, I'm going to reveal it now, right at the start, 14.5 million left in the bank, and it's still quite a good team. I'm really actually quite pleased with this. But again, and I said to Rambo, I said, maybe this might be one that, it's a long season. It's a very long season. Is it one where you look to do something like this, put this team together? And I wish I could do it as an experiment now after a couple of games. Obviously, you can't. Well, I could do it if I used my wild card. But I think it's a good team, and there's a lot of money being saved, and there's a lot of steals there that are only going to rise in price. So let's take a look at it. So this is my team. This is my squad, in fact. 14.5 million left in the bank. Martinez, 4.5 million. I think that was my heartbreak this week. He was on my bench this week. I went with McCarthy because I haven't really gone into that, but I was drunk, forgot to change my team, despite having doing 2 streams on the FPL every single week. Shame on me. In terms of assets, like goalkeeping assets, I feel like you got people like Ramsdale at 5 million, Leno. You might kind of say it's quite difficult to kind of suggest value over anyone over 4.5. When it comes to goalkeepers. So for Martinez at Aston Villa, I think he's going to be one of those who's going to be busy, but could keep a couple of clean sheets. I think that's what got Aston Villa over the line last year. I could see them drifting towards not being as good as Crystal Palace, but kind of being trying to be safe and then nick a couple of goals with a bit of brilliance from the likes of Grealish and Watkins. And if they are looking to do that, then they might get themselves some clean sheets. Gaeta, 5 million. Is really good value. I think Crystal Palace, that's the other thing with, like I said, this disjointed Crystal Palace team. Someone like Mitchell, who I've got in my defenders, at 4 million has to go in because he's playing at the moment. Van Aanholt might come back and play. But I think it actually suits Crystal Palace quite well because Mitchell doesn't get forward because he's so young. He's not going to kick up a fuss. He's just so happy to be there right now. He's allowing the players he's allowing like the rest of them to all go forward, and then he's just staying there and concentrating on doing his defensive job well right now, which I think will be really useful to Crystal Palace. In terms of an FPL asset with him, 4 million is a no-brainer for someone who's playing. But of all the teams, mid-table teams that you could pick, I think he's the best. It's the best for him to be playing for Crystal Palace because I think the points that you're going to get from him are generally going to come from clean sheets more so than assists or goals. And so you want a team that's likely to get a lot of assists, and I think he could do that. So I think him in midfield's a good option. I think Brighton are going to have a really good season. So those 2 goalkeepers are probably the best 2 options I've got. McCarthy's 4.5 million as well, and obviously Southampton are conceding a lot of goals at the moment. So those feel like the 2 best value picks at the moment. The goalkeepers are never going to rise too much, but I think Brighton are going to have a really good season. Justin as the fullback, I think this will be down to injuries a little bit, but whilst he is playing, I think he's a really good option for a Leicester team that's had a good start to the season after having a real wobble. Maybe against Burnley and West Brom, that's maybe covering some cracks. I don't know, but he got himself a goal. He's in my Football Manager series, he's a legend, and that's a few years on now. We're into our 5th season in Football Manager, and he's a baller. So maybe he's going to go up in price. James is a player that I've had from the start. I think him playing back-to-back games, it feels like this isn't true, but it feels like the end of Azpilicueta a little bit as a regular for Chelsea because he's not big enough to be a centre back for them. And Reece James, it looks like that's his spot now. Do you think?
Yeah, it depends how Lampard wants to take them forward playing football. I imagine Azpilicueta will just pop in and out of the team whenever they require him. I just want to say to the chat, I think people are a little bit confused, but this is a steel 11, which is why there's no Trents in there and there's no Bellinghams in there. It's a steel 11, which means the players are cheap and are going to go up.
Yes.
So I think James gone up, or is he's still 5 million? So I think he will go up eventually.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, Reguilón still, and obviously there's other options here, which is let us know those. This is great. But yeah, I just think these are the players that have kind of shone for me so far, and who I reckon, with the money that I've got in the bank, 14.5 million still in the bank, I think a lot of these guys will go up in price. So Lamptey, Lamptey's just he's just a joy.
Boy.
I want him
He's
to be
the
my
boy.
mate. I want him to be my brother. I want him to be my son. I just want to look at him. He's just like the cutest thing I've ever seen, and he's a baller. He's so good. So yeah, Lamptey goes in there, of course. I think the only concern you got with Lamptey sometimes, but I don't think it's something to worry about because of the formation of Brighton then playing 3-4-3, is the fact that he might come off quite often. I think they might try and protect him sometimes.
I just want to say, Graham Potter, if you're watching this, why would you sub a player at 58 minutes when he's on a clean sheet? Just wait 2 minutes, bro.
Yeah,
What are you doing, man? I was literally, he made the sub and the ball wasn't going out. Like, he had Dan Burn ready, and I was like, please, just keep the ball in. And literally, he was like, I think Wilson kicked the ball out, and I was like, why did you just kick the ball out? And then, he made that change with 2 minutes ago. I was fuming, mate. I was an easy 4 or 5 points. But I was also saying on Twitter, completely off topic, but I think Lamptey's this season's Ings for me. I absolutely love the guy.
Yeah, and we're talking about who's the price rises. Who's going to go up in price? He's going to fly up in price because he's not just, we're talking about someone like James MacArthur earlier, not an FPL asset, of course, but he's someone who doesn't look like much of a baller, so you're not really going to give him that much interest. We're all falling in love with Lamptey, and if we're all falling in love with Lamptey and he's good value, everyone's going to jump on him, and if everyone jumps on him, then his price is going to rise. Hence, he's in the team. Gabriel has started those first couple of games. I think the big thing with Gabriel is I think he will score goals. I think he's a real threat. He's already scored one already. Some of the reports I was kind of reading on him in pre-season was the fact that he is lethal in both boxes. So I think they might really look to him as one of the main men in terms of scoring goals from set pieces. And Arteta seems to have them so well drilled. I can see them scoring a lot of goals from set pieces and him being at the forefront of that. So I've put him in there at 5.1. I think also Arsenal aren't going to concede that many goals this year. What?
No, just tripping that. Someone just said Lamptey looks great and he doesn't even have blonde hair.
That's true. Do you know what that means? Did we talk about that too? Was that on our stream?
Yeah, probably right.
Podence, we were talking about Podence, like, number 10 for Wolves. Wolves are looking pretty good again this season. I think there's Semedo signing as well. It's going to let Traore move forward a little bit. Jota leaving. I think they're doing that because of the likes. Maybe they're looking to get Silva involved a little bit more. And Podence as well. He started both games. He looks really, really good. 5.5 million, absolute steal, I think, because I could see him maybe getting on set pieces if he can get them off Moutinho. And I just think see him get some assists as well, like he did for Jimenez. Like the fluency of his, like the nutmeg and the cross, it's just like it's a joke. Then what I'm trying to do when it comes to value here and price rises, I think with the signings that Spurs have made, they could go through the roof. And Son is the guy who makes those runs beyond. And if you've got Bale and Kane there, I can just only see him scoring. And if you look at his value, sort of points per million, I think it's 2.9 or something like that. It's right up there. Obviously, he's had a really good week. 4 goals will do that. But I can see him scoring. I can see him having one of the best seasons of his career, especially with the, having Bale and Reguilon and all those people knocking about around him. I think at 9 million to basically almost have kind of like a centre forward. You've got that Salah vibe, but on the other side. Well, he's probably more like a Mane in terms of the way that he plays. I think he's of great use. Greenwood, I think that they realised how much they missed him by not playing him. 7.5 million for someone who's going to play a lot, especially if Sancho doesn't come through. I think he's great value. I had Souček in there, but I moved him for Foden because I think you've got to remember, you want players from teams that are going to score a lot of goals. West Ham aren't, Man City are. Foden's going to get a lot of points. 6.5 is, I think, could be a real steal if they do stick with him and play him. You just worry about the rotation. Zaha, we spoke about, is playing as a centre forward now, 7.1 million. I think Palace have been good. Can they score more goals? We'll see as the next few games go forward. I would maybe wait 1 or 2 weeks for Zaha. Just to be sure, because I think we've seen this before. They do like to tempt us with Zaha. Especially when he's playing as a forward. But I think he's becoming more integral as that forward. And Ayew just does the work for him, like you said. So I think that, again, is good value. And if he has a good season, obviously his price is going to go through the roof. And then front three, Bamford, I watched I saw the Fulham Leeds game. I thought he was brilliant. I think do you know what he's got? He's angry. You remember Vardy? You remember Vardy last year when everyone's taking the mick out of his wife and all the fans were taking the mick out of him? He was annoyed. He was so fed up and angry. He wasn't concentrating on missing chances. He was just pissed off and wanted to score goals. And I see that in Bamford a little bit. I know people wouldn't say that. You got Martin Tyler or whoever I can't remember who the commentator was, but they were saying Bamford, of course, who went to a private school. Just like, what? Why is that relevant to any of this? Like, you could still be an elite player and still have the hunger. And I think Bamford is showing that. And I thought he's brilliant against Fulham, and 5.7 million, cheaper than Mitrovic. It'd be interesting. Who do you think would score more goals by the end of the season, Mitrovic or Bamford? Because if Fulham fall like a stone, Leeds do well. Still Mitrovic.
I think if Fulham score 30 goals, Mitrovic scores 15. I think Leeds could score 60. I still think Bamford will only score 10.
I'm starting to believe in Bamford. I get why everyone was against him. I'm starting to believe. Calvert-Lewin, like you say, I think this is his coming of age season. I think he's going to score a lot of goals. I think Everton are going to score a lot of goals. We spoke about it last week. It aged really well. He's now at 7.2. It's really annoying me because I'm not sure how I can get him into my team. But if you've got him in your team, that is a set and forget for the rest of the season, in my opinion. And the final one, a little bit different. Brewster, 4.5 million, but he will be moving. He will be moving to Sheffield United. He could go to maybe Newcastle United. I think ideally you'd like him at Brighton or at Sheffield United. Or I think there's a few other. I think Crystal Palace are actually linked with him as well. But he's going to go to a club. He's going to start games. And I saw a lot of him last season, especially in the playoff run. And he's cracking. He's a really good player, and he's 4.5 million. So if you can have a starting striker who would get into, I don't know, who could be, if you've got a starting striker, it's 4.5 million for a team that's mid-table, I think his price is only going to go through the roof as well.
He just needs to go to the right team.
He does.
I think Sheffield United could be a good destination for him because he's going to get 2 or 3 chances a game. He'll take them. I don't know why Fulham aren't going for him, and West Brom, teams that are genuinely going to lack goals, who need 5 or 6 extra goals. But he's like 25 million, so he's expensive, and there's going to be a buyback clause as well. Decent little team, like
it's not bad, is it?
I wish you did like a set and forget, so you started with this team, because now like you're 2 game weeks behind, it's impossible to catch 130 points or whatever it might be to make it a while. But it's an interesting one. Final
question on this then, mate, and let me know what you think, guys, about this team. But the question for everyone, but Rambo's going to answer it, is who on this team will have the highest price rise by the end of the season?
Jeez. I am gonna say Calvert-Lewin. I think Ings last season started at 6.5 and finished at 7.8. I think Calvert-Lewin started at 7. I think he finishes at about 8.2. I think we'll see him go up a lot, but in phases. Like now he'll go up, and then I think he'll stay, and then he'll go up loads, and then at the end he'll stay again. I think. Who do you reckon?
I'm going with. I know it's just popping off. I think DCL's a fair shout, especially when it gets goals, then people will be excited about it, and he's really cheap right now. Foden's a really good option as well. I'm gonna go with you on this. I think you're right. I think it's spot on. I think Calvert-Lewin and Everton. I've just been really impressed so far. Everything that we said last week, we were really impressed with him, which is a video on my channel. Go check it out. But DCL, he's just underpriced. They've got the price wrong with him.